It's a Tuesday night and you're lying in bed with your phone an inch from your face, scrolling. Not shopping exactly, just looking. And then there's a thing, a nice thing. A gadget, a jacket, a kitchen tool you didn't know existed an hour ago and now somehow can't imagine living without. It's $38, free shipping, one tap, and before you've even decided you want it, Amazon already knows your address, your card, your whole life, and the box is on its way before your brain catches up. That moment, that exact little frictionless moment, is where most people quietly lose financial stability. Not in some dramatic crash, not in one bad decision, in 1,000 tiny taps that each felt like nothing. So today I want to talk about minimalist money rules, the kind of simple, almost boring financial principles that actually keep you stable for years. Not because you're rich, but because you stopped leaking money in ways you never noticed. And I'll be honest with you up front, this isn't going to be the usual budgeting lecture. This is more like the stuff I wish someone had just sat me down and explained before I learned it the slow, expensive way. My name is Olivia, and I spend an embarrassing amount of time thinking about money, why we buy what we buy, and why some people stay calm and steady financially, while others, earning the exact same paycheck, feel like they're always one surprise bill away from disaster. And the longer I've looked at it, the more I've realized the difference usually isn't income, it's a handful of quiet rules. Minimalist ones, the kind that sound too simple to matter right up until you watch what they do to someone's life over 5 years. So let me pull you into this, because I think you're going to recognize yourself in a few of these, maybe more than a few. Here's the first rule, and it's the one almost nobody connects to money. Owning less is a financial strategy, not a vibe, not an aesthetic. A strategy. Because here's the thing you don't think about when you buy something. The purchase price is just the entrance fee. Everything you own keeps charging you after you bring it home. The car needs insurance and oil changes and a new set of tires you forgot were coming. The bigger apartment needs more furniture to fill it, more stuff to clean it, more electricity to light it. Even small things have a tail. That second streaming device, that gadget drawer, that closet packed so tight you buy duplicates of things you already own because you can't find the first one. You told yourself each item was cheap, but you were never really paying for the item. You were signing up for its upkeep. Minimalists, the financially smart ones anyway, figured this out. Every single thing you don't buy is a cost you never have to carry again. It's the rare money move that pays you back forever, quietly in the background, for the rest of your life. You didn't just save the $40, you saved the storage, the maintenance, the replacement, the mental weight of one more thing to keep track of. And when you start seeing purchases that way, as ongoing subscriptions to clutter rather than one-time treats, something shifts. You stop buying on autopilot. Which brings me straight to the second rule, and this one's almost stupidly effective. Put friction back into spending. See, the whole modern economy has been engineered to remove friction. One-click checkout, saved cards, buy now, pay later, splitting a $50 shirt into 4 payments so your brain registers it as $12.50 instead of $50. Apple's got your card, Amazon's got your card, that food delivery app's got your card, and a 15% service fee, and a delivery fee, and a little suggested tip that defaults to a number higher than you'd ever choose yourself. Every layer of that is designed so you feel the want and never feel the cost. So you fight it by doing the opposite. You add friction back in on purpose. The rule a lot of people swear by is the 72-hour rule. Anything you want that isn't a true need, you ate 3 days. Not forever, just 3 days. You'd be genuinely shocked how often the thing you absolutely needed on Tuesday night feels completely optional by Friday morning. The want was real. It just wasn't durable. And the cart sitting there untouched quietly saved you money you'll never even know you didn't spend. Imagine you did that with just the impulse buys you make in a normal month. The late-night Amazon stuff, the checkout line grab at the grocery store, the third coffee that was really about boredom, not caffeine. None of it feels like much. That's the trap. A $4 coffee, a $12 app, a $30 impulse, scattered across a month, never lands as a number you can see, but it's landing on your card all the same. Real receipt math, not textbook math, just the quiet drift of a card you swipe without flinching. And speaking of things you swipe without flinching, let me hit you with the third rule because this is the one that genuinely makes people gasp when they actually run the numbers. Audit your subscriptions, all of them, right now, this week. Because here's what the research actually found, and it's almost funny how predictable we are. A study from C+R Research asked people to estimate what they spend every month on subscriptions. The average guess was about $86. Then the researchers had those same people sit down and actually add up every recurring charge line by line. The real number? $219 a month. That's 2.5 times what people thought. $130 a month just vanishing on services most people couldn't even fully list from memory. And it gets better, or worse, depending on how you look at it. More than 40% of people in that study admitted they'd completely forgotten about a subscription they were still being charged for, still paying, just forgot. The Netflix you upgraded to the premium tier during one show and never downgraded. The fitness app from a January motivation spike that died by February. The free trial that quietly converted into a real charge while you weren't looking. That cloud storage you signed up for to send one file. Now do the slow version of that math in your head. $130 extra a month you didn't even know you were spending over a year is more than $1,500. That's a real emergency fund. That's a flight home for the holidays. That's the start of an investment account. And it was just sitting there draining out of your account in $9.99 increments, small enough that your brain filed each one under doesn't matter. The minimalist rule here is brutal and simple. If you can't remember the last time you used it, you cancel it today. Not next week, today. You can always resubscribe. They make that part incredibly easy, trust me. Okay, fourth rule, and this one's the backbone of the whole thing. Automate the boring part so your willpower never has to show up. Here's the honest truth about saving money. The people who are consistently financially stable, the ones who never seem rattled by a surprise expense, are almost never the people with iron discipline. They're the people who remove the need for discipline entirely. They set it up once and then let the system do the work while they got on with their lives. What that looks like in practice is paying yourself first, automatically, before the money ever touches your spending account. The day your paycheck lands, a slice of it moves itself on autopilot into savings. You never see it, you never feel it, you never get the chance to talk yourself out of it at 11 p.m. with a cart full of stuff. The money is gone before your brain can claim it. And because you never saw it, you adjust to living on the rest almost instantly. That's the quiet genius of it. You're not relying on yourself to be good. You're relying on a system that's already good for you. And you might say, yeah, but I can barely cover my bills. There's nothing left to automate. Fair point. But here's the thing. Start absurdly small. $20 a paycheck, an amount so tiny it's almost insulting. Because the goal at first isn't the money, it's the habit, the pipe, the automatic motion. Once the channel exists, you widen it later. Almost nobody who starts misses the $20, and almost everybody who starts ends up grateful the pipe was already built when life finally gave them a little more to send through it. Which leads me right into the fifth rule, and this is the one that separates people who feel calm about money from people who feel quietly terrified all the time, even when their accounts look fine. Keep a simple buffer between you and chaos, a real one. And I need you to hear how serious this is because the data on it is genuinely alarming. A U.S. News survey from early this year found that 43% of Americans could not cover a $1,000 emergency from their savings. 43%. Almost half the country is one car repair, one ER visit, one broken water heater away from a credit card spiral. And the median emergency fund among people who even had one had dropped to about $5,000, which was half of what people reported just a year earlier. The cushion is shrinking, fast, right when people need it most. Here's why this rule sits at the heart of minimalist money thinking. A buffer isn't really about the money, it's about removing panic from your decision making. When you have nothing saved, every small disaster becomes a financial event. The transmission goes, and suddenly you're putting $1,200 on a card at 24% interest, and now that $1,200 is quietly becoming $1,500, then $1,700 as the interest compounds month after month while you make minimum payments. But when you've got even a modest buffer, that same transmission is just an annoying Tuesday. You pay it, you rebuild the buffer, you move on. Same event, completely different life. You don't need 6 months of expenses overnight. That advice paralyzes people. Start with $1,000, just one. Make it your first finish line, because the difference between 0 and 1,000 isn't really about the $1,000. It's the difference between a life where small problems stay small and a life where small problems detonate. All right, 6th rule, and this one's more about how you think than what you do. Spend on what you actually use, not what you imagine using. Minimalists have this concept that quietly fixes a huge amount of wasteful spending, and it's the idea of cost per use. Instead of asking what something costs, you ask what it costs every time you actually use it. The $15 streaming service you watch 20 times a month costs you 75 cents a sitting. Cheap, worth it. But the meditation app you opened twice this year that bills you $14.99 a month is costing you something closer to $90 per actual use. You'd never agree to that if the app asked you up front, but spread thin across the year, it hides. Same logic kills the fast fashion trap. The cheap $14 shirt that pills and warps after 4 washes and gets shoved to the back of the drawer isn't actually cheap. The $50 shirt you wear 100 times costs you 50 cents a wear. The cheap one costs you $3.50 a wear and a closet full of regret. Minimalism isn't about buying less because less is virtuous. It's about buying things that earn their place and quietly refusing everything that doesn't. And that mindset connects to the last rule, which is honestly the most important one of all, because it's the one that protects every other rule you just heard. Refuse the upgrade treadmill. Resist lifestyle inflation. Here's what nobody warns you about. The real threat to your financial stability isn't poverty, it's the raise. Because every time your income goes up, your spending quietly rises to swallow it, and you end up exactly as stretched at $80,000 a year as you were at 50. New money, same stress. A bigger apartment, a nicer car, the better phone every cycle, the upgraded everything, and somehow there's still nothing left at the end of the month. You make more and you feel exactly the same. You just have nicer stuff to feel it next to. And there's real research behind why this happens to all of us. A landmark study out of Princeton, the one by Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton, looked at the relationship between income and day-to-day emotional well-being. And what they found is that emotional well-being climbed as income rose, but then it flattened out. Past a certain point, more money stopped buying more daily happiness. The dopamine of the new thing fades almost as fast as the box gets opened, and then you're standing there, a little emptier, already eyeing the next upgrade. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation. You call it that weird feeling where the thing you were sure would make you happy just becomes the new normal in about a week.